We finally got some nerfs to Ahri on the way. Shen is going to be nerfed as well after becoming the best jungler, while we've got a bunch of buffs to struggling picks like Skarner, Tryndamere, and Azir. So as always, we're here to break everything down for you guys in as quick and condensed of a manner as possible, so you're completely caught up to speed with what you need to know for when 26.6 hits live servers this upcoming Wednesday, March 18th. So starting off with all the item changes, we've got a very minor buff to Chempunk Chainsword, with cost of the item being lowered from 3,100 to 3,000 gold. If you're newer to League, then Chempunk is probably an item you haven't even seen in any of your games, and for good reason, because it's super niche, being that is the Grievous Wounds purchase for fighter champions. We don't see this buff doing anything to shift the priority of Chempunk, so it should continue to remain niche for 26.6. Sunfire Aegis is getting a quality of life change so that a ruby crystal is added to the build path, so now it's going to be a bit more efficient on your path to completing the item, as you'll no longer have to save up 1,000 gold before fully completing the item. After completing your Chain Vest and Bramble Vest, you would then need 1,000 gold to fully finish Sunfire, so now if you end up having to base before you have 1,000 gold, you'll be able to snag an extra ruby crystal. Supports across the board are getting buffed for this patch, with the pre-5 minute kills allowed before you get penalized going up from 7 to 24. Post 5 minute kills allowed per minute are going up as well from 4 to 6. So if your teammates aren't taking farm throughout the mid game, or if your ADC dies early on and a massive wave crashes under your tower, you'll now be able to pick up that farm without getting penalized. As if Azir wasn't gutted enough for solo queue, his win rate dropped to 42% due to his 26.5 nerf, so Riot's giving him a few buffs for 26.6. Q AP ratio is going up from 35 to 55%. W damage is being increased, with the per level base damage going up from 0 scaling to 45 to 0 scaling to 72, while AP ratio is up as well from 32.5 scaling to 62.5% to 35 scaling to 65%. Lissandra is going to receive 2 changes, with her Q cooldown dropping by 1 second at all ranks, while armor growth is going down from 4.9 to 4.2. 1 second may not seem like a big deal, but for a spell you can spam off cooldown, and for a spell that was already at a pretty low cooldown before, this Q buff is really nice for Liss. A few buffs are on the way for Olaf, with his base attack speed going up from 0.694 to 0.72. Q slow is being changed from 25 scaling to 45% to 30 scaling to 50%. However, slow duration is adjusted as well, going from 1.5 scaling to 2.5 seconds to 1 scaling to 3 seconds. And then E self damage is going up from 30 to 40% of damage dealt. Riot has a couple changes lined up for Skarner, with his Q mana cost dropping from 45 to 30, and then Q max health damage is going up from 9 to 11%. Tryndamere is going to be issued a buff to his attack speed ratio, as it's going up from 0.694 to 0.725. Onto the champion nerfs now. We've got a change to Ahri, with her Q base damage per hit dropping from 40 scaling to 140 to 35 scaling to 135. Pretty small nerf overall, so Ahri should remain a top tier mid for yet another patch. Pyke will be losing some durability for this patch, with his base armor going down from 43 to 37. Shen has absolutely popped off as a jungler over the past patch, so Riot won't be wasting any time in nerfing him, with Q monster damage dropping from 120 scaling to 200 to 100 scaling to 200. So nothing too major with this one, and Shen should still remain a really good jungle pickup for 26.6. Zehen is taken over as one of the best junglers in recent patches, so Riot's going to be nerfing him in a few different ways. E monster damage is getting hit, with damage dropping from 75 to 50. W base damage is dropping from 40 scaling to 120 to 30 scaling to 110. And then W bonus AD ratio is down as well from 50 to 30%. Alright guys, one last thing. Our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit SkillCapped.com and see the difference. So there you have it, everyone. Those are all the changes that we can expect to hit live servers for this upcoming Wednesday, March 18th. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.